Unfortunately, stepping into alignment does mean that you will have to deal with your visibility wounds. Otherwise, you will stay stuck. Otherwise, your new self, your authentic self will never emerge. And as a divine feminine, as an old soul, everyone's always called me an old soul, as someone who felt like they never belonged on this earth, literally my entire life was shaped by visibility wounds that I didn't even know that I had. First of all, I spent a whole decade of my life moving around. I immigrated from Argentina when I was 4 years old, came to a whole new country, didn't know the language, and grew up in abuse and poverty, so I had to move around a lot. From a really young age, I learned to be quiet, to stay small, to not draw any attention to myself. I essentially learned how to shrink myself and become invisible and become comfortable in the shadows just to survive. And this is the root of my visibility wound. So imagine this was the foundation for my sense of safety. Essentially, I learned from a really young age that being seen was not safe. So I had this type of chaos reflected back to me in my relationships, even in schools and the jobs I worked that I hated, dropped out of college, never felt like I was safe committing to one thing or one place. The next way that this affected me was through my worthiness. So I was in relationships that reflected my worth, even though I didn't really understand it in the moment, because I was with someone who's a constant cheater, who planned a wedding behind my back with another person, obviously. I was in cold relationships where all they cared about were the material things and the money and the aesthetics. And I was not that kind of person. I'm a very kind, compassionate person. I don't care what people really look like. I'm very focused on giving to others, right? But the frequency was the same. I was attracting these people not because I was just like them, but because we were both in the frequency of shame. We were both hiding behind things, right? My ex was basing their worthiness on, how many girls they could have. The hotter the girl, the better, right? Or how many material things they could have to show off to others, where they could live, how they could show off that they were successful and that they knew what they were doing. It was the same kind of frequency. I was just hiding behind the emotional baggage, right? And things that I was really stubborn about facing, because you couldn't have told me that I had to become more visible to live the life I'm living now, which me from 10 years ago would be bowing down to me right now, because I no longer work a 9 to 5. I've made over 6 figures at this point, and I do what I love. I get up every single day, and it is not a chore to me to come on here and share my ideas and my stories with you guys. Which leads me to number 3. My visibility wounds held me back because they kept my voice trapped. Quite literally. I don't like confrontation. If someone yells at me, I will start to cry. Okay, I'm a very sensitive person. Even though I may come off confident or strong on the outside, that's just the Taurus in me. I am very, very sensitive. And my visibility wounds taught me that it was not okay. It was not safe for me to be sharing my voice. It was not safe for my gifts to be seen, let alone shared with other people. And truly, I was just afraid of being judged by others, or worse, that they would confirm the lies I was telling myself, because at that time I was so insecure. I would tell myself that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't pretty enough, that I wasn't successful enough, that I didn't have the right skills, that I didn't have the right connections, that I was born unlucky. The shift really happened when I realized that staying hidden was actually riskier than being seen, because I had just been stuck in this cycle of being this person that I did not like. I didn't like what I was doing with my life. I didn't like the people that I was around. I didn't like how I treated myself. I didn't like how I was treating others. I didn't like how I was treating my family. I did not like how I was treating my body. And the moment that everything aligned for me was the moment that I chose myself, that I chose to embrace my gifts, that I chose to check in with myself, that I chose to share my voice. After 5 years of committing to my healing path, breaking through my visibility wounds, and taking my gifts seriously, I feel so aligned with my path and my purpose, where not only have I built a 6-figure online spiritual business, sharing my gifts with the world, but I get to help divine feminines like you heal your own core wounds, break away from toxic karmic cycles and loops that were holding you back, and rise into your own soul purpose. It has been such a blessing, and I'm so grateful every day that I get to do what I do, but I'm grateful that I learned that visibility wounds are not about vanity. They are about devotion, and you are allowed to be devoted to yourself. So if you're feeling called to working with me, this is the kind of work that I do in my soul integration program. It's a 4-week one-on-one program. If you don't know what soul integration is, it is the bridge between who you are now and who you are meant to be as you are stepping into alignment. And alignment is a symptom of spiritual ascension, and spiritual ascension is essentially the process of you shedding an old identity and stepping into a higher identity, into a higher path, into your higher self. I would love to know how visibility wounds have held you back in the comments. Don't forget to give this a like and make sure to follow, because I will be posting more visibility wound content in the future. I wish you all nothing but the best and hope to see you soon. Bye.